This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Max and Mia podcast. I'm Max, and right here with me, as always, is Mia.
Hi there. So good to have you here. Thank you for pressing play today.
Before we get started, we just want to check in. How's your week going? We really hope it's been a good one so far. And if not, well, maybe this episode turns things around a little.
Now, today's topic is one that I think a lot of English learners overlook. And honestly, it makes a huge difference. We're talking about how to express emotions in English, but not the basic stuff. Not just I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry. We're going beyond that.
Exactly. Think about those moments that are hard to put into words. That feeling when something is completely out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. That rush you get when something unexpected goes really well. The kind of emotions that have more weight to them.
Because here's the thing. Most learners know words like excited, upset, or nervous. And those are fine, but they're just the surface. Today, we want to give you the language to actually say what you mean, with precision and with feeling.
And the best part is, everything we cover today you can use in real conversations, not just in English class, in your daily life.
But before we dive into the vocabulary, we want to kick things off with a quick activity. Some of you might remember we've done something like this before on the channel, so you already know how it works.
Here's the idea. We're going to show an image on screen, and what we want you to do is pause the video right there. Take a good look at it and try to describe out loud in English what you see. Not just what's happening, but how you think the person in that situation might be feeling. Try to put it into words.
And if speaking out loud isn't an option right now, that's completely fine. Maybe you're on the bus, maybe you're at work. No judgment. What you can do is just think it through in your head. Either way, the goal is the same. You try first, then we'll give you our version.
Also, for those of you listening without the video, don't worry at all. After each image, we'll describe what's on screen so you can follow along just as well. And if you get the chance to watch later, you can always come back and do the visual part then.
All right, let's get into the first one.
Go ahead and pause. Take a look. What do you see? How would you describe what this person is feeling right now? Give it a shot.
All right, let's talk about it. For those of you who can't see the screen right now, here's what's in the image. A man has just crossed the finish line of the London Marathon. He's on his knees on the ground, completely drained. His clothes are soaked. His body is done. But he made it.
And that's the key word right there. Done. Not just tired, done. Now, the most obvious thing you might want to say looking at this is, he's very tired or he's happy he finished. And yes, that's true. But that doesn't really capture it, does it?
Not at all. So let's give you something better. The first word we want to highlight is exhausted, not just tired. Exhausted means your body has absolutely nothing left. You pushed it to the limit and beyond.
And then there's overwhelmed. This one is interesting because it works in both directions. You can feel overwhelmed by something negative, like stress. But in this case, he looks overwhelmed by emotion, like it's all hitting him at once, and he doesn't quite know how to process it.
There's also a word that fits this image really well. Relieved. It's that feeling when something difficult is finally over. When you've been carrying something heavy for a long time and you can finally let it go. It's not quite happiness. It's something quieter than that. But it's powerful.
And if you want to go one step further, you can use the expression to be on the verge of tears. It means you're so close to crying that you can feel it, even if you're holding it together. A lot of marathon runners describe finishing a race exactly like that.
So next time you finish a tough workout, a long run, a match that pushed you to your limits, instead of just saying, "I'm so tired," try saying, "I'm completely exhausted," or "I felt so relieved when it was finally over." Those small changes say so much more.
Hold on to those. All right, let's move on to the second image.
Same thing. Pause if you can, take a good look, and try to describe what the person in this image might be going through. What do you see? What would you say?
All right. For those listening without the video, here's the scene. Two men in formal clothes, suits, both sitting in what looks like a workplace setting with a laptop in front of them. One of them, the one we're focusing on, is wearing a navy blue suit. His head is down, one hand pressed against his forehead. The other man has his hand on his shoulder, as if trying to offer some kind of support.
And right away, you can feel there's a heaviness to this image. This isn't just a bad day. This person looks like he's reached a point where he doesn't know what else to do. So, what's the word most people would reach for first? Probably stressed, maybe sad, and again, not wrong, but not enough either.
Let's start with frustrated. But not just frustrated. What this image really shows is what we'd call suppressed frustration. That's when you're frustrated, but you're holding it in. You're not shouting, you're not reacting. You're just containing it. And honestly, that can feel even harder than letting it out.
Then there's a word I really want you to remember: powerless. It means you want to fix something, you want to change the situation, but you simply can't. It's out of your hands. And that feeling of having no control over what's happening around you is one of the most draining emotions there is.
And connected to that is the idea of resignation. This is when you've stopped fighting. Not because you've given up in a weak way, but because you've reached the point where you accept that some things are beyond you. There's a certain heaviness to resignation that sad just doesn't cover.
Now, if you want to use an expression in a real conversation, one that really captures this kind of moment, you could say, "I feel like I've hit a wall." It means you've reached a point where you can't move forward, no matter how hard you try. Very common, very natural, and much more expressive than just "I'm stressed."
Another good one is, "I'm at my wit's end." It means you've run out of ideas, out of patience, out of energy to deal with the situation. It's that moment where you genuinely don't know what your next move is.
So the next time you're going through a tough moment at work, in school, in any situation where things feel out of your control, instead of just saying, "I'm so stressed," try saying, "I feel completely powerless right now," or "I've hit a wall and I honestly don't know what to do." That's the kind of English that actually connects with people.
Exactly. Those phrases don't just describe a situation, they make people feel understood. And that's what language is really for.
All right, one more. And I'll say this one is a little different from the previous two. Go ahead and pause. Look at it carefully. How would you describe what this person is feeling?
For those of you without the video, here's the scene. A young woman is standing on the edge of a rocky cliff, wearing hiking gear, a bright blue jacket, and an orange backpack. In front of her is a massive canyon with a waterfall in the distance, and the sky is lit up with a warm sunset. She's looking up, smiling, hands slightly raised. She looks completely absorbed by what she's seeing.
And this one is a bit more cheerful, which we needed after that last image. Now, the easy answer here would be she's happy or she's excited. And sure, there's some of that. But what's really happening in this image goes deeper than excitement.
The word that comes to mind immediately is awe. Awe is that feeling you get when you're faced with something so big, so beautiful, so far beyond what you expected that you almost don't know how to react. It's not just, wow, nice view. It stops you in your tracks.
And closely connected to that is the adjective awestruck. You can say, I was completely awestruck. It means that feeling of awe was so strong, it almost froze you in the moment, like your mind just went quiet for a second.
There's also the word serene. It describes a very calm, peaceful state. Not the kind of happiness where you're jumping around. More like everything around you feels still and right, and you're fully present in that moment. Looking at her expression, that's exactly what I see.
And then there's an expression that I think is perfect for this kind of moment. To be at peace with the world. It means nothing is bothering you, nothing feels urgent, nothing feels wrong. You're just there, fully. It's one of those rare feelings that's actually hard to put into words, which is exactly why having the right vocabulary matters.
So the next time you're somewhere that takes your breath away, a mountain, a beach at sunrise, a place that just makes you stop, instead of just saying, it's so beautiful, you could say, I was completely awestruck, or I just stood there and felt totally at peace. That's a sentence people remember.
Exactly. And honestly, those are the moments worth describing well.
All right, so now let's hear all of this in action. Because knowing vocabulary is one thing, but hearing it in a real, natural conversation is a completely different experience.
We're going to play a short conversation between two friends, CALLUM and RENATA. They're catching up after not seeing each other for a while. And as you'll notice, one of them tends to use pretty simple language to describe how they feel, while the other one reaches for something a little more expressive. See if you can spot the difference.
And keep your ears open because you'll hear some of the words and expressions we already covered, plus a few new ones. Let's listen.
Hey, CALLUM. Oh my gosh, it's been forever. How are you doing?
Hey, yeah, I know, way too long. Honestly, I'm really tired, like really, really tired. Work has been so much lately.
I can imagine. I went through something similar last month, and I just felt utterly drained, like no amount of sleep was actually fixing anything. What's been going on?
We've had this big project going on for like 3 months now, and nothing is going right. Every time we fix one thing, something else breaks. I feel like I can't do anything. It's just, I don't know, I'm stuck.
That feeling of being completely powerless, even when you're giving it everything you have, that's one of the hardest things. Honestly, it sounds like you've hit a wall.
Yeah, that's exactly it. A wall. I like that. My boss keeps pushing and I just sit there and nod, but inside I'm like, I don't even know what to say anymore.
That suppressed frustration is the worst kind, honestly. You can't really let it out because it's work, so you just carry it around all day.
Exactly. I just feel really bad about it, you know? Like I'm doing something wrong. Am I just being weak?
No, absolutely not. Look, everyone gets to that point. You're not weak, you're just worn out. There's a difference. But hey, enough about work. Tell me something good. Anything.
Oh, actually, yes. So, you know I went hiking last weekend, right? I went to this place about 2 hours outside the city, and honestly, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so beautiful. I was really happy.
Okay, wait, I need more than really happy. Where did you go?
There's this viewpoint at the top. You can see the whole valley. There's a river down below, and when I got there, the sun was starting to set, and I stopped. I couldn't move. I just stood there.
That's awe. That's literally what awe feels like, when something is so much bigger than you that your brain just goes quiet for a moment.
Yes, that's the word. I was completely, what's it called? Awestruck?
Awestruck, exactly. See, you know more than you think.
Maybe, but seriously, standing up there, I forgot about all of it. The project, my boss, all of it. For like 20 minutes, I just felt calm. Really, really calm.
Serene, that's the word. Not just calm, serene. Like everything inside you just settled.
Serene. Yeah, I like that even better. It felt like nothing else mattered for a bit, you know?
At peace with the world. That's what you're describing.
Okay, you need to stop making everything sound so much better than how I say it.
That's literally what I'm here for. But honestly, hold on to that feeling, especially right now with everything going on at work. You clearly needed it.
Yeah, I really did. I came back feeling a lot better. Still stressed, but lighter, I guess?
Lighter is good. Sometimes that's all you need, a reminder that the world is bigger than whatever's sitting on your desk.
Honestly, yeah. Okay, enough about me. How are you doing? Because I feel like I've just been talking this whole time.
No, this is good. This is what catching up looks like. But okay, yes, I have things to tell you. Get comfortable.
Okay, so what did you catch? Because there was a lot going on in that conversation.
There really was. And I think what makes it work is that it feels like a real conversation between two people who actually know each other. It's not a textbook dialogue. CALLUM talks the way a lot of us talk when we're just trying to get our feelings out without overthinking the words.
Right. He says things like, I'm really tired and I feel really bad and I was really happy. Which, again, totally normal. We all do it. But then RENATA comes in and without making it awkward, without correcting him, she just mirrors what he's saying with better words. And that's actually a really elegant way to learn.
That moment where CALLUM says, I was really happy, and RENATA goes, okay, but I need more than really happy, made me laugh because honestly, same. But it's also such a natural way for the upgrade to happen. He wasn't embarrassed, he was curious, and that's the mindset you want when you're learning a language.
And notice how RENATA never sounds like she's giving a lesson. She's just talking. She says, that's awe. That's literally what awe feels like, as if she's just sharing a thought, not defining a word. That's how you absorb vocabulary naturally. You hear it in context, you connect it to a feeling, and it sticks.
There's also something worth pointing out about the emotional arc of the conversation. It goes from heavy to light. CALLUM starts drained and frustrated, and by the end, he's talking about feeling serene at the top of a hill. That shift happens really organically, and you can feel it, which is exactly the kind of range we want you to be able to express.
One more thing I want to highlight, the word worn out. RENATA uses it when she tells CALLUM he's not weak, he's just worn out. Worn out is softer than exhausted. It's more emotional than physical. It's the kind of tired that comes from dealing with too much for too long. Really useful word.
All right, speaking of useful, let's talk idioms.
So we've covered a good amount of vocabulary today, but idioms are a different animal. They're those expressions where the words alone don't tell you what they mean. You have to know the phrase. And when it comes to emotions, English has some really vivid ones.
Let's start with one you'll hear a lot in American English. To have a chip on your shoulder. This one is about carrying resentment or anger, usually because of something that happened in the past. Like, if someone feels they were treated unfairly and they're still bitter about it, you'd say they have a chip on their shoulder. For example, ever since he got passed over for that promotion, he's had a chip on his shoulder. It's not explosive anger. It's that quiet, long-lasting kind.
Then there's to get something off your chest. This one is beautiful because it's so physical. Your chest feels heavy when you're carrying something emotionally, right? So when you finally talk about it, when you say the thing you've been holding in, you get it off your chest. You could say, I really need to get this off my chest. I haven't told anyone, but I'm really struggling right now. Very natural, very common in everyday American speech.
Oh, I love that one. Okay, here's another American one that I think is really relatable. To be on edge. It means you're in a state of tension, like something could go wrong at any moment and you're bracing for it. It's that anxious, unsettled feeling where you can't quite relax. You might say, I've been on edge all week waiting for the results. It's different from just being nervous. It's more like a constant low-level anxiety that won't go away.
And then one more from the American side. To wear your heart on your sleeve. This is for someone who doesn't hide their emotions. They feel something. You know about it. It shows on their face, in the way they talk, in everything. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You'd say, she wears her heart on her sleeve, so when she's upset, the whole room knows it. Some people see it as vulnerability, others see it as honesty. Either way, it's a great expression to know.
All right, and now for a British one. Because the British have a very particular way of describing emotional states. And I think this one is especially worth knowing. To be beside yourself. This means you're so overwhelmed by an emotion, whether it's grief, worry, or even joy, that you almost feel like you're not in control of yourself anymore. You'd say, she was beside herself when she found out her flight was canceled. Or on the positive side, he was beside himself with excitement. It's intense. It's that moment when an emotion is so strong, it kind of takes over.
What I like about that one is that it works across the emotional spectrum. It's not tied to one specific feeling. Happy, devastated, furious. You can be beside yourself with any of them.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so useful. 5 idioms today. All of them natural. All of them the kind of thing you'd actually hear from a native speaker in a real conversation, not in a textbook.
All right, before we wrap up, just a quick word. If you got something out of today's episode, whether it was one word, one expression, one idiom that clicked for you, the best thing you can do is leave us a like. It genuinely helps more people find the podcast, and it takes about 2 seconds.
And if you're not subscribed yet, now is a good time. We put out new episodes regularly, and every single one is built around making your English more natural, more expressive, and more confident. So hit that subscribe button, and you won't miss a thing.
We also love hearing from you. If you tried the speaking activity today, if you paused the video and actually described those images out loud, tell us in the comments. We want to know how it went. Okay, so before we close out today, there's one more thing we want to touch on, and it ties everything we've talked about together, because we've been giving you words and expressions all episode, but knowing the word is only part of it.
Right. There's actually a concept in English called emotional intelligence, or EQ for short. And before you think this is about to get very deep and psychological, it's not. We're keeping it practical. Because honestly, EQ is one of the things that separates someone who speaks English correctly from someone who communicates in English really well.
And at its core, EQ comes down to two things. The first one is self-awareness, which basically means, do you actually know what you're feeling in the moment? And in English, this matters because if you can't identify the emotion, you can't express it. That's why we spent so much time today going beyond I am sad or I'm happy. The more specific you can be about what you're feeling, the more clearly you can communicate it.
And there's a phrase in English that captures this really well. To put your feelings into words. It sounds simple, but it's actually a skill. A lot of people, even native speakers, struggle with it. So when you practice naming your emotions precisely in English, you're not just learning vocabulary, you're building something more useful than that.
The second part of EQ is empathy, and this one is huge, especially at a B2 level, because real communication isn't just about expressing yourself. It's about understanding what the other person is going through and responding to that. Think about RENATA in that conversation. She wasn't just listening to CALLUM's words. She was picking up on how he felt and reflecting it back to him in a way that made him feel understood.
And in English, there are some really natural ways to show empathy in a conversation. Phrases like, that must have been really tough, or I can only imagine how that felt, or even just, that makes total sense. These aren't complicated, but they signal to the other person that you're actually present in the conversation, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
And that's what takes your English from functional to genuinely connecting with people. Because anyone can learn grammar rules. But when someone feels like you actually understood them, that's when language becomes something more.
So the takeaway from today isn't just a list of new words. It's a shift in how you think about expressing yourself. Ask yourself, am I being specific enough? Am I showing the other person that I understand them? Those two questions alone will take your English further than any vocabulary list.
And on that note, that's a wrap for today's episode. Genuinely, thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. That means more than you know.
It really does. We put a lot into these episodes, and knowing that you're actually here, listening, trying, that's what makes it worth it. So thank you.
Take care of yourselves, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you then.